Proverbs chapter 24. Be not envious of evil men, nor desire to be with them, for their hearts devise violence, and their lips talk of trouble. By wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established. By knowledge the rooms are filled with all precious and pleasant riches. A wise man is full of strength, and a man of knowledge enhances his might. For by wise guidance you can wage your war, and in abundance of counselors there is victory. Wisdom is too high for a fool, and in the gate he does not open his mouth. Whoever plans to do evil will be called a schemer. The devising of folly is sin, and the scoffer is an abomination to mankind. If you faint in the day of adversary, your strength is small. Rescue those who are being taken away to death. Hold back those who are stumbling to the slaughter. If you say, Behold, we did not know this, does not he who weighs the heart perceive it? Does not he who keeps watch over your soul know it? And will he not repay man according to his work? My son, eat honey, for it is good, and the drippings of honeycomb are sweet to your taste. Know that wisdom is such to your soul. If you find it, there will be a future, and your hope will not be cut off. Lie not in wait as a wicked man against the dwelling of the righteous, and do no violence to his home. For the righteous falls 7 times and rises again, but the wicked stumble in times of calamity. Do not rejoice when your enemy falls, and let your heart be glad when he stumbles, lest the Lord see it and be displeased, and turn away his anger from him. Fret not yourselves because of evildoers, and be not envious of the wicked, for the evil man has no future. The lamp of the wicked will be put out. My son, fear the Lord and the king, and do not join with those who do otherwise, for disaster will arise suddenly from them, and who knows the ruin that will come from them both. These also are sayings of the wise. Partiality in judging is not good. Whoever says to the wicked, You are in the right, will be cursed by peoples, abhorred by nations, but those who rebuke the wicked will have delight, and a good blessing will come upon them. Whoever gives an honest answer kisses the lips. Prepare your work outside, get everything ready for yourself in the field, and after that, build your house. Be not a witness against your neighbor without cause, and do not deceive with your lips. Do not say, I will do to him as he has done to me. I will pay the man back for what he has done. I passed by the field of a sluggard and the vineyard of a man lacking sense, and behold, it was overgrown with thorns. The ground was covered with needles, and its stone wall was broken down. Then I saw and considered it. I looked and received instruction. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a robber, and want like an armed man. Welcome to day 24 of our Proverbs Bible study. Thank you for joining me. Let me know in the comments if you've been here since the start. We are almost to the end here, and today is no different. We're going to dive back into another chapter and see what's going on. But we're going to kind of break down a few different sections and a few different talking points. So let's go and get started. Have you ever watched someone's life fall apart? Maybe it was through their financial situation, a divorce, some sort of family trauma, a business dealing gone bad. Maybe they just had like a psychological, mental, spiritual type breakdown, and they're just very anxious and just very stressed, and they're a person that just doesn't seem like they can get it together. Almost like their whole world is built on something, just a foundation that's just super weak. We can see here in Proverbs 24 that doesn't happen overnight. This is a slow progression, a slow buildup. It's foundational work that probably takes place over the course of several years, from maybe even a child upward through adulthood. And really, it's 2 contrasting points that we have reiterated and talked about several times, and that's a life built on wisdom versus foolishness. Wisdom builds a life that stands, foolishness builds a life that fails. So how do we build a life that doesn't fail, that is, foundationally speaking, built on wisdom? Number 1, we don't envy wicked people. Verse 1, Be not envious of evil men, nor desire to be with them, for their hearts devise violence, and their lips talk of trouble. In a world of comparison, from social media to our jobs and the promotions that some people get, or the raises that they get, or I'm middle class and this person is an elite and a billionaire, it's so easy to covet and be envious of what everybody else has. I live in an apartment. I want a 5-story house. I drive this little dingy car. They drive a Ferrari. You name it. As humans, it is in our sinful nature to be envious of what other people have and where other people are in their lives. The principle here in this first verse, the first couple of verses, deals in regards to wicked people, non-Christians, people that do not live according to biblical principles, that do build their lives, all of their successes, all of their financial wealth and their fame, it's built on foolishness. It is not built on wisdom. Does that mean that they're not smart people? No, they got to where they are because they are smart. But smart doesn't equal righteous. You don't want their life. It will end in destruction. But furthermore, you can see people that are Christ followers that do have successful lives. Maybe even as simple as they're married and you're not. They have children and you don't. They are at a certain church that you want to be at and you are not. They're a successful touring artist and you're not. They have 500,000 followers on Instagram and you only have 500. We are all on different walks and in different places, both in our spiritual walks, but also in the plans that God has for us and the gifts that He's bestowed upon us and He's given us. The number one key takeaway is not to compare yourself, not to be envious of what people have, where they are, because truth be told, we only see the highlight reel. We don't see what's in their heart, especially with those that build their life on foolishness and take advantage of people and get to a certain place. We don't see the deviousness and the maliciousness of their heart that got them from point A to point B. We only see the results. And similarly, when it comes to Christ followers, we don't see the work and the toil that they've spent in their prayer room, praying over certain things, spending time with the Lord. They've been faithful to the Lord. They have read their scripture and they've submitted to God, and they've taken their talents and they didn't go and bury it. They went and they multiplied it. We don't really oftentimes see that. And because of it, it can be really easy to compare and become envious. A life that's built on envy is a life that's built on foolishness. It's a life that says what God is doing for that person is so much better than what God is doing for me. I am guilty of that. You are guilty of that. The number one thing that we need to do is close out your phone, stop paying attention to what other people are doing, especially if you struggle with this, and just get into the Word and pray for God to make His plan and His will known to you for your life. But even before that, just submit yourself to God. Submit your plans, your desires to the Lord, and tell Him, God, I just want to serve you. I just want a life that is fulfilling and pleasing to you. I want to have a relationship with you. I want to know you and trust you. I see what the world espouses and the sentimental optimism, as my pastor put it just a few days ago. I see that's the basis for the do-good morality that is ever shifting and ever changing. It's just sentimental optimism. That's the hope that they have. But the hope that we have is in Jesus Christ. It's a foundation that is unchanging. It's truths that are unchanging. And there are so many promises of God. There is a hope and a future for those that are righteous. What does it say? It says, verse 14, know that wisdom is such to your soul. If you find it, there will be a future and your hope will not be cut off. That is the promise from God to Christians, to believers, and to those that submit themselves to the Lord and seek after God and His righteousness. Okay, so there's that. That would be point number one. That felt a bit preachy and a lot less teachy, so sorry about that. But I'm guilty as much as the next person. And then additionally, the second thing here is that wisdom strengthens the life of a Christian. Solomon says that a house, a life, a family, a reputation is built on wisdom. Understanding fills it and knowledge strengthens it. A wise man is full of strength, and a man of knowledge enhances his might. For by wise guidance you can wage your war, and in abundance of counselors there is victory. Is it saying that like wisdom is like a physical strength? No, it is a spiritual grit that helps us walk and navigate this life. All of the troubles that we have to face, wisdom's kind of the seatbelt as we're driving through life. It's the seatbelt. Every time we're bumping into a guardrail, driving off the bridge and coming out of the water and back on the road and, running into a stop sign, running a red light, the seatbelt of wisdom, that's what's protecting us. So how do we have a life that doesn't fall apart? Like we mentioned at the start of the video, we build our life on the foundation of wisdom. Like we build a house on a solid block, concrete block, or a concrete pad. It's got to be firm. It's got to be solid. And everything else is built on that. And through that, wisdom gives hope. We've already discussed that here. I'll read it again. In verse 14, know that wisdom is such to your soul, and if you find it, there will be a future, and your hope will not be cut off. I feel like this is kind of like the secret sauce that like the world just doesn't get. That my future, my morality, what I hold to is not based off of sentimental optimism or preferences or whatever the common good is at the current era. It's built off of an unchanging truth. And even just that one passage there is so encouraging to me that like I'm told I can believe and have faith in that, to know that there is a future for those that hold to wisdom and hold to righteousness. That is our hope. And when things seem like they're falling apart, maybe we've made wrong decisions. I've made some wrong decisions in my life. We still have that opportunity to cling to the biblical principles of wisdom. But those that are far from God and seemingly their lives are unpleasant, unhappy, they're sad, they're despaired, they're anxious, they're walking through turmoil and disconnect with their spouse. They can't quite figure out what the missing piece is. The missing piece is Jesus. The last thing that we'll talk about is something we've reiterated many times, and it's laziness. It's the sluggard. It says here in verse 30, I passed by the field of a sluggard and the vineyard of a man lacking sense, and behold, it was overgrown with thorns. The ground was covered with needles, and its stone wall was broken down. Then I saw and considered it, and looked and received instruction. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come over you like a robber, and want like an armed man. Proverbs has warned endlessly about laziness and somebody that does not take to diligence and hard work. These are qualities, these are character traits that are very important. If you build your life on wisdom, you're going to stand strong even when you fall. But if you build your life on foolishness, in the short term, it might look good. But the Bible says that in the long run, it crumbles. It leads to destruction. So today, ask God for wisdom. Walk in it. Submit yourself to the Lord. Submit your plans in your life to the Lord, and see how he strengthens your life. See what he does. Be aware and observant of what God is doing in your just a regular old Tuesday. That's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like the video, subscribe for chapter 25, which will be tomorrow. See you then.